So, hello guys, welcome to the last and final bonus session of the workshop Life Reset 2022. So, today the session will not be much longer. It will be like shorter. First, will uh, I will discuss about the topic, and afterwards, like we'll have a Q&A session. So, if you have any questions, you can ask in the session. After maybe around 30 minutes, we'll have Q&A session. Is it Baya? After around
Yeah,
30
right.
minutes,
Yeah, probably. The session, the topic of today's session won't be long. May not even take 30 minutes.
thanks. I think we are good to go.
Yeah, great. Hello, all. Welcome to this bonus session of 2022 Life Reset. Let me share my screen. Right. To just give a brief recap of what we have done in the last three sessions of 2022 Life Reset, we have started with life and it 5 keys to define your best life. And then in the second session, we have understood the power of habits and we discussed about bad habits and we have found how to break bad habits. In the third session, we went on to discuss a four-tier framework for building good habits, followed by the magic of routines. In this bonus session, the topic for discussion is two habits that hold us back from achieving our potential. Right. Let's dive into today's topic. The first habit that holds us back is the mindset we have around time. Time, and in other words, money as well. Both of them are our resources, the resources which we have. Time can either be spent, used, wasted, invested, or volunteered. You can use it for daily chores like bathing, making your bed, cleaning your table, stuff. And you can spend it with people, spend it in other ways, spending in with your friends, spending with your family, and it can also be wasted doing nothing, wasted by playing a lot of online games, playing, uh, watching a lot of videos on YouTube, which are not productive. And it can also be invested. It can be invested for your own growth. It can be invested in reading, listening to podcasts. It can be invested in learning new skills, new habits, new courses. Right now, attending workshops, you can invest in many ways. And it can also be volunteered. You can volunteer your time for the benefit of others. You can find out time through which you can help others. There are a lot of opportunities, there are abundant opportunities to volunteer around the world. Someone wants to ask anything? Cool. So, time can either be used, spent, wasted, invested, or volunteered. What's important is that we can't actually eliminate the time that goes wasted, but what we can only do is maximize the time we invest in ourselves, and we can find out time for volunteering and paying our rent for living in this world. You know, service is the rent we pay for being in this world. The healthy, wealthy, and wise, they invest their time in their own growth. So it is essential that you find out time every day, day in and day out. Let it be 20 minutes, let it be 30 minutes, let it be 40 minutes. You can spend time reading really good books, listening to powerful podcasts, doing new courses, doing courses online, or you can do a lot of other things which will help you grow yourself. So it's important that you get the balance right between using your time, spending your time, wasting your time, investing your time, and volunteering your time. Using your time is more or less, you know, you can't cut off a lot of things which need to be done, a lot of daily chores. But what you can do is you can optimize. You can optimize doing it while doing some, let it be you have certain tasks which you need to do, which doesn't need a lot of conscious effort, but they will need your time. You can, you can actually turn on a podcast. You can actually turn on an ebook while doing that. That way you can optimize the time being used. And you have to spend time with people. You have to spend time with your family and friends. You need to find out time. And the time that is being wasted, this is something you need to minimize. It is needed, of course. I don't say that you should let go of all the entertainment in your life, but you should minimize that. And you need to maximize the time you invest. And you need to find time for volunteering because that's the rent you pay. So, this is one habit that we need to develop, which is to find the right balance. Find the right balance that makes you happy, that also helps you grow. Volunteering actually makes you happy. It gives you that fulfillment in life which you may not get from anything else. And investing your time will help you grow. These are two things that you need to take care of, investing and volunteering. And at the same time, spending time with your family and friends is equally important to maintain your relationships. These are the five things you can do with time, and that is where you need to be careful in finding the right balance. This brings me to the second habit we have for today, which holds us back from achieving our potential. This is commonly found everywhere within ourselves, within others. You find it everywhere. These are three C's that hold us back from achieving our own potential in our own lives and in our relationships, in our careers, in our teams, which wherever it may be. These are three things, three C's that hold you back. The first C is comparison. Comparing yourself with others. This is the greatest, you know, greatest harm you do to yourself. One thing we all need to understand is that we all have our own timelines. If you know Warren Buffett, he's one of the greatest investors. He was not a millionaire while he was a teen. He was not like Mark Zuckerberg. Most of his wealth, I think it's 85% of his wealth, was amassed after his 60th birthday. I'm not sure of the stats here, but it is something like that. And if you see a lot of millionaires, a lot of billionaires, they were not doing well all through their 20s, all through their 30s. We need to understand that we all have our own timelines. And as a curse of the social media, we get to see the highlight reels of everyone. If you go to Instagram, if you go to any celebrities Instagram, you won't see all their fights, you won't see all their bad days, you don't see all their failures, you don't see all their anxieties, worries, their own illnesses. All of those are not making to Instagram or Facebook. But what happens when we compare ourselves with anyone, whether it be celebrities, whether it be our friends, whether it be anyone for that matter, when we are comparing, we are just seeing what we can see. A- And there is a lot behind the screen which you never get to know. So don't compare yourself Don't compare your lives with the lives of any others. And for that matter, in any other aspect of your life, whether it be academics, whether it be careers, whether it be finances, all you need to do is you can get inspired from people, but don't compare yourself with anyone. The reason again is that we all have our own timelines. Someone doing exceptionally great today may not be doing the same tomorrow. God forbid, no, but we can't actually say that if someone is doing great today, it's gonna be the same tomorrow. And even if he is doing some great today, suppose he is so exceptionally great in academics, but inside, mentally, he might be suffering a lot. He might be having many other problems, which we never know. We don't compare our problems with others. We don't aspire to get the problems of others. In the same way, don't compare your things that you are grateful for with the things others have. This is something you need to get over. Comparison. Only thing you need to compare with is your own self, your own past self. The only thing you need to compare with is your past self, whether you are getting better than your past self or not. That is the only comparison you need to hold. Any other comparison is only gonna bring you down to competition. The opposite of competition is excellence. Excellence is the pursuit of getting better than yourself. Excellence will take you places, whereas comparison will give you that, will limit your potential. Comparison limits you to a certain boundaries. Let's say you are a group of 40 people. Your comparison will always be with the top of the 40 people. So one day, after a lot of hard work, maybe a lot of endeavors, you may reach the top. But once you reach the top, you'll find out that this is not all in all. Either you'll find out that this is not all in all, you'll find new competitions, or you become ignorant, you become blinded that this is all in all. You will be happy, you will get complacent with what you have reached. But on the other hand, when you are pursuing excellence instead of competition, what happens is you will constantly be comparing yourself with your past self. So it's sure shot that you will be getting better. You'll be getting better than yourself day in and day out. So let go of comparison. The only comparison you can hold on to is a comparison with your own self. The second C that holds us back is complaining. Complaining often is done for things that are beyond our control. Campus nahi khul raha hai, corona nahi mit rahi hai, this is not good, this is not right. Uh, a lot of things. We complain of a lot of things. But if you just look through it, you will understand. If something is out of your control, it should be out of your mind as well. Because if it's out of your control, there is nothing you are gonna do about it. And while as long as you are complaining about something, you are holding a negative thought and you are giving unnecessary stress and anxiety to your mind. Instead of complaining, instead of focusing on what you can't control, your focus must always be you must always try to focus on the things which are in your control, what you can actually do. Let's say this common thing which many of the students today are facing is campus nahi khul raha. We want offline classes. First things first, uh, COVID is something. It's a universal thing. It's a pandemic. It's beyond our control. We can't do anything. We can't do much about it. All we can do is following the restrictions, getting vaccinated, mask up, use the sanitizer. These are the things you can do individually. On the other hand, if you even try more, you can actually make people aware, make them get vaccinated, make them follow the COVID protocols, and maybe you can try to, you know, uh, prevent the surge in cases. This is all you can do. But if you keep complaining, sit in your home and say कोरोना नहीं कम हो रही है, नया वेरिएंट आया है, नया केसेस आ रहे हैं, केसेस आर गेटिंग cases are getting higher day by day. All this is just giving you a lot of negativity, and it is occupying a lot of your mind space. This you can just know by self introspection. If you keep complaining about things, if you give all your mind space to something that is beyond your control, you are left with a very little mind space for things that are in your control. The most important, the most valuable real estate you have is the space between your ears. This space is the most valuable one. You should not if you have a home, if you have a house on your name, how many of you would be giving it to to anyone for free without charging any rent? And that too for something, let's suppose you have two houses, and you are living in one of the house. The second house you have beside your own home is empty. How many of you will rent it out for free for someone who is ploying to steal your home, someone who is ploying to rob your home? How many of you would do that? No one, right? No one is going to do that. But this real estate we have been doing that since years, since time immemorial. We have been doing it. We rent this space out for free to all the negative thoughts, to all the anxiety, to all the worries about which we can't do much. So this is what you need to do. You need to find out, you need to analyze how much you have been complaining, how much you have been focusing on things beyond your control. And all you need to do is bring that focus onto things you can control. What's in your control? You have a lot of things in your control: being kind, being grateful, doing things that make you happy, doing things that will help you grow. All these things are in your control. But the mind is wired in that way to be attracted or to get stuck to negative thoughts. You need a conscious refocus from things that are negative, from things that are out of your focus, to be brought to bring your mind onto things that are in your control, that are positive. And the third C that holds us back is criticism. You know, criticism is needed, but it is needed only when the person or the object that is being criticized is asking you for it. Unless and until then, criticism is unneeded. But our mind is wired to figure out mistakes, fault finding. Your mind really enjoys that. This is something, again, you need to try and get over. Criticism is something we have been doing. Fault finding. You find faults in things that you have nothing to do with. No one has asked you whether this is right or not. If someone is asking you, then it's good. Then you can find out mistakes, give them feedback, and still, even then, criticism has its own, you know, uh, acceptable ways in which you can give criticism. You need to have the authority. You need to find the right time. You need to find the right place. You need to find the right circumstance. And you also need to have the right choice of words for giving criticism. So, unless and until asked for, never focus your mind, give your mind space for criticism. So, these are the three C's, and this ends the two habits that hold us back from reaching our potential. Let me see who all are here. Great, we have 6 people here. So, if you have understood the three C's, type in CCC in the chat box. Great. Rakesh understands.
Hello, Bhaiya. My chat box is not working properly. My MS Teams is not
Great.
working.
Okay. So you get CCC, right?
Yes.
Complaining, comparison, complaining, and criticism.
Hmm.
These are the three C's you need to let go of. And this was the other habit we have discussed, which is our mindset around time. These are the two things I wanted to share today in this bonus session. Thanks to you all for joining in for the bonus session. This brings me to the Q&A session. Do we have any question and answers which may be related to the things that were discussed in the workshop, or the things which may not have been discussed in the workshop but fall in the relevant, the relevant scope of workshop? Now is the time for questions.
Bhaiya,
Yeah, Rakesh.
you spoke about the time wastage and time usage, and you spoke about many types, right? So sometimes,
Hmm?
can you like with once you just go to the slide way for
Yeah, sure. Here it is.
yeah. You discussed about the spent, wasted, invested, and volunteered. Yeah, exactly. These are the terms.
Right.
So when I think about multitasking, when I do more than one
Hmm.
thing, I feel like uh, sometimes my time is getting useful and I mean used, but sometimes I feel like it is getting wasted also. Like what exactly is multitasking is about, and what do you feel about multitasking? You should do it or not?
Right. Multitasking is a concept we have probably adapted from computers. In computers, there are options for multitasking, like there are threads which help you do multitasking. But the thing about your mind is it is a single processor, whereas in computers you may have single processor with multiple threads, or multiple processors with single threads, or further. But your mind is wired that way that it is a single processor with a single thread. So while you think that you are multitasking, what actually happens is you switch between tasks. If you start working in your companies, maybe you will understand something, that there is something called context switch. If you have been working on one project for say 10 days, and all of a sudden you had to pick up something that you left long ago, then you will actually struggle from switching from this work to the other work that is that needs to be taken up. This is called context switching. So we generally you know get to notice this when it's about big things, but when it's about teeny things, and when it's about both things with a little time duration between the two switches, we generally not notice it, but it actually happens. Your focus gets fragmented, and there is also a lot of unnecessary stress that builds up in your mind. So let me also explain you what stress actually is. So you all, being engineers, must have gone through +1 +2 physics, where you learn that unless and until the thread has tension, it can't pull two objects, like it can't pull an object. So the same thing works with your mind. There needs to be a certain amount of stress to do things, but the stress and work curve is something like an inverted U. I mean, stress and productivity. So there is one point where, even if the stress, like consider the stress on x-axis and productivity on y-axis, and the graph goes an inverted U. So as stress increases, there is one point where you are highly productive, and that is where you need to work. That is where you need to play. And what happens when we put things out of focus, like things which are out of our control, or things like multitasking, the stress tends to grow onto the unhealthy side. It tends to grow, and your on one hand the stress is growing, on the other hand your productivity also gets down. So all you need to do is find flow, and flow is a state where you are at that optimal stress position. It is called the flow state. So coming around to the topic, that what I think about multitasking, no, you should not do multitasking. As much as possible you should avoid it. But in cases when the one of the tasks you are doing doesn't need any focus, it's just like you are just waiting for the cook, you are waiting for the pressure cooker to get 5 whistles or something. In that cases you need not give your complete focus there. You just need to, it will anyway gonna alert you when it whistles up, so you need not give your focus there. In the same way, there are a lot of daily chores where you need not give all your focus. So those are the places where you can bring in investing. You can turn on a podcast, turn on an audiobook, and hear on. It's possible. So that isn't really harmful, but you must try and avoid multitasking as much as possible, especially when both the tasks need your focus.
That should be. Previously, like I had an idea that multitasking means brain is doing it both at the same time. But as you spoke, it is not. I mean, it shifts actually.
Yeah, your brain is a single processor, single task processor. It can't actually do multiple tasks at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
And of
Uh,
course, there is this thing that different people take different levels of effort in context switching. Few people are better in context switching. But if you take the research statistics, it is only 2% or 1% people who are fine with multitasking. But all the 98 or 99% of other people get less productive when they do multitasking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a one question on chat, bro. It says that so suggest two
Yeah,
three.
Yashwant. Yeah, that's gonna come up. I think you will see here that I have listed a few recommendations after the Q&A, and I hope if you are fine with it, I'll share them after the Q&A.
Yeah, bhai, it would be better after Q&A.
Yeah.
I have another small
Any other
question.
questions? Yeah,
So
Rakesh.
the comparison part, you just spoke that.
Hmm?
I mean, you just I mean you just directly spoke that comparison is very bad and just do it. Like
Hmm.
you basically conveyed that point because comparison
Yeah.
with others always builds up pressure and it's always creates either envy or we cannot
Hmm.
grow when we get to the top. That is what your point. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So just consider one example. Like for
Hmm.
example, I'm at first class. Okay, at every class I need an improvement. Okay, so I'm doing an improvement with myself. So I'm learning A B C D E
Hmm.
F G and so on one day. So
Hmm.
the improvement which I am doing is improvement for me. But how to know that that improvement is sufficient for me? When we compare, then only we know, right, that improvement is sufficient for me. We don't get that optimal level when we don't compare. When we compare, are okay, everyone is on the same level, so I should be minimum at this level so that I can work up to
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So how
So
to
see,
know our level without
right,
comparing?
right. What you have actually pointed out is that space between excellence and competition. So it is possible that you withdrew from competition, but you are not pursuing excellence. This is possible. That is the space where you will get this doubt. The lacuna between competition, where you are highly competitive, you want to reach the top. That is competition, and excellence is doing your best. It's not only doing better than yourself, but it's doing your best, giving your best endeavors. That is excellence. sorry if I didn't convey the complete point of excellence. Excellence is actually doing your best. It's not just doing better than yourself, but it's actually doing your best. But there you compare with only yourself. I hope now it's clear. Excellence is
Yeah,
about doing your best, but the only comparison you have is with yourself while you are pursuing excellence. But it is possible that you fall in this lacuna between excellence and competition, where you are neither competing with others nor competing with yourself, nor finding, just getting complacent with whatever you are doing. So I didn't ask you to fall in this lacuna. I asked you to pursue excellence. So if you pursue excellence, you are doing your best. Let us consider this example, the same example you have pointed out. Let us see that there is a class of 40 people. Do you think that all of them can study on the same level? Like they can do equally well in academics?
obviously no.
Obviously, no, right? But how many parents do you think would ask them to be on the top? Like how many of the people, like if there are
Or
40 people, yeah, more or less all. So if a parent is telling their child that you must get to the top, will it actually work? There will be a time that when they will understand that they will only start valuing those 1, 2, 3 positions. If they are not in the 1, 2, 3, then whatever I am, there is nothing much. I have observed this. Like I have observed this in my own classes. If they are doing well, if they are on the top, then they are doing well. But once they fall off, once they fall into 20s, then there is no way that they are coming up. They are just going down and they settle down in the bottom. This used to happen in our classes. So this is something we need to understand, that when you are focusing on competition, you are addicted to those numbers. You are trapped in those numbers. And it is possible that the pool size you have might be a very small thing. It's just that that analogy of frog in a well. A frog in a well thinks that this well is the world, this well is the universe. But once it comes out, it will know that that is not the universe. So competition, these are the downsides of competition. But as you pointed out, what you pointed out is actually correct. That there is this lacuna between competition and excellence where you may fall down, where you are not either competing with others nor comparing with yourself, getting better. But I asked you to focus on excellence, pursue excellence, do your best, give your best in any situation. Thanks for thanks for the question.
no way. Like it's a very clear way. When you do your
Yeah,
best, obviously you don't need to compare because even though if you compare, you cannot do more than what you can do.
right.
Yeah. But for 1 second, let us think that Vaya,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for 1 second, let us assume that we'll not come in this ideal case. We'll see the normal world, the general world which we live in. Let us say what you said they are doing. They are not
Mm-hmm.
comparing. Okay, they are not comparing.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that if parents say don't compare, just give your
Mm-hmm.
best, then I don't. I would give my best because I'm not able to understand that way because I cannot. I mean, I cannot give my best because basically people are like little bit lazy. When we compare, then they may do
Mm-hmm.
something. But if it stop comparing, I don't think they may do something. They'll just fall down.
So
Everyone
yeah,
will fall
right. The thing you are pointing out is actually due to the conditioning. So we are conditioned that way, that there is this experiment called Pavlov's dogs experiment. So what he does is he gives a stimulus and accordingly he gives a reward. Like he has a dog. Every time he gives the dog food, before giving food, he used to ring a bell. So after few days, the dog gets habituated to it. Just by ringing the bell, the dog used to salivate, even if there is no food. This is called behavioristic, way of reward. It's called the behavioristic psychology. So this is what has actually happens with all of us, that we get conditioned to something. We get conditioned to competition, that we actually become blind to the fact that This is actually possible. Getting out of competition is actually possible. So what happens if you get out of competition? If you are lazy, that is where you're gonna fall down. Like the lacuna between competition and excellence. That is where you are gonna fall down. So if you fall there, that is not the ideal condition. You may say that competition is better than falling in that lacuna, in
Yeah,
some sense, but excellence is the best thing. So it may be possible that you know it may be possible that you fall in this lacuna, but what can actually happen is if you give more thought, if anyone fall down in an if anyone falls in that lacuna, as you said, they get lazy, they don't do things, they don't work on themselves, possible. But there will come a time when time will remind them that they need to actually do something. So in this lacuna they can't actually stay for long. They will either get back to competition or get into excellence. So this gap between competition and excellence is actually dangerous. So it will need, you need to uncondition yourself of competition. You need to uncondition yourself of out of that mindset that you need to be the top, you need to compare with others. Giving your best is actually possible. You will actually know whether you are giving it or not. And the key that will help you in pursuing excellence is self introspection, regular self introspection. You need to introspect whether you are doing your best or not. That is the key that will help you in pursuing excellence. Otherwise, it is possible that you will fall down in the lacuna between them.
because like achieving excellence is very much tough actually for me myself, and it
So
takes
is
very much long
competition.
time.
So is competition. You can't reach top in the competition, but competition actually makes you complacent. Just by getting two places above, like if you have been doing 30 and you just get to 25 in your class, competition will give you that shot of dopamine, which will make you complacent, that you will feel that pleasure. Or it is possible that if 25 is not the threshold you are looking for, if 20 is it, or 5, whatever it may be, depending on the threshold you set yourself, you actually get complacent at one place. As I told recently, that bad habits, letting go of bad habits is hard, but holding on is actually harder. So pursuing excellence is hard, but holding on to competition is harder. Any others have any questions? Or Rakesh, if you have any further questions or other questions, I'm up.
Yeah, like I'm looking for any other people. I have two more questions.
Yeah, sure. Any others want to ask anything that is around this workshop, inside this workshop, anything?
Yes, like not it is not related to the workshop topic,
Okay.
but you mentioned that like I was just curious. You mentioned that that U-shaped curve of stress
Mm-hmm.
versus
Right.
productivity, and at the maxima,
Mm-hmm.
there's this flow state. But
Mm.
like I feel like in the flow state there is somehow no stress. So
Okay.
just curious. Just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. What I pointed out is actually a neuroscience thing. It is not a thing of theory or philosophy. So stress in that terms is, it's in absolute terms, not a relative thing. That whether you feel stress or not, that is not what they are figuring pointing out there. But what they point out there is absolute stress. How much your nervous system is feeling stress. I don't know if I'll find that graph somewhere. I actually learned that in a neuroscience wala course. I can surely share that on Life Research Group, but right now I don't. think I can
No,
access it.
I don't know. I just can experience that thing also. Like when you have a stress to some levels, then productivity does increase, and after that it does recede. And
Okay,
but that is like
let us
one situation,
find
and
out.
the Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, you can go on. I'm
Huh,
just trying
but
to
like
find
this,
out.
but the second situation also happens, na? Like when there is this flow state, then you are productive, but the point there is not of being productive. Like that is the flow state. तो वहाँ stress नहीं होता. मतलब दोनों like दोनों situation true है. I don't know how.
Okay, in this case, it's called performance. So, illustration of Yerkes Dodson human performance in stress curve. Okay, I don't remember the scientific names here. So, if you can see the screen, there is one figure uh, over here. So, that's what I was referring to. So, even in flow state, even in flow state, the flow state is called the is actually characterized by having a challenge that actually suits your skill sets. Like you have just enough skill sets and mindset to achieve that challenge. That is
Precisely.
a characteristic. That is a characteristic of flow state. But even then, while you are doing that work, there is some amount of stress, and that is what. And yeah, one more thing that I wanted to tell here is that this curve, this reverse U curve, does not need to be the same, for everyone. Few people have their optimum stress down below, like on the x-axis it's far left. For some it may be to the far right as well. So let's say if someone is into a flow state, then their optimum stress may tend to, you know, to the left on the graph.
Hmm.
Right. That way, that way you don't feel stress while you are in your flow state.
Right, right. The skill
Okay.
set thing is nice. Like, huh? Like,
Right. We have a question. What is your New Year resolution which you want to achieve? Okay. Yeah, actually, I haven't set my resolutions this year yet. For last few years, what I have been doing is, I remember in 2018, I have set a long list of resolutions where I have mentioned things like, uh, let me show you all, since we have time. So I have mentioned things like thousands, 7,000 minutes of workout, something like that. I don't remember, but I have mentioned a lot of things which I wanted to do. But in the end, what I figured out is that I could do a few things, but I failed in doing a lot of things. So in 2019, I refined them by adding an intention. I added an intention to each of the resolutions. And further in 2020 and 21, I started breaking them into short term goals. And I started doing the life audit where I started focusing 2 months each on each of the empires and stuff. So that's how it actually evolved. And this year, I haven't really did that exercise yet, uh, given a lot of circumstances that have came up. Uh, but I'm gonna do it. But what I am thinking for this year is that I will do life audit with Ugadi. Ugadi is the Hindu New Year, and the good thing about Ugadi is that am I audible?
Yeah, we are
Am I
knowing your
audible?
points.
Okay. Don't know, maybe some network issue. So this time I'm thinking of doing live audit with Ugadi, but before that I have fixed a few goals this year. One thing is reading 24 books this year, at least 24 books. And this is my Medium page. If anyone is interested, you know, can just give a read over there. I think this is where I shared about resolutions. Okay. Right. So yeah, this was the 2019 snippet of my resolutions. 3,000 minutes of workout, 2,000 plus rounds of meditation, which I do, and then 70 plus TED Talks, 60 plus quotes. I used to do it back then. I used to write quotes and articles. Yeah, this was my resolution list in 2019. I used to do it this way, but with time, things get more realistic, things get more refined. So right now, I am not doing it on an annual scale. I am not thinking of 3,000 minutes of workout per year. Maybe that can be your resolution, nothing wrong. But you need to break it down. But you need to break it down to something more tangible, something like 4 times a week. 4 times a week, I need to work out, or 3 times a week, whichever is possible for you. You need to break down that resolution to something more smaller, make them small. So if you have a resolution that you need to spend 10,000 minutes in meditation, make it to 200 minutes a week. Make it, or even you can bring it down to days as well. You can bring it down to 30 minutes a day if that's your goal. If 10,000 minutes a year is your goal, 30 minutes a day should be your teeny goal. So anyway, the question is about my new resolutions for this year. So one resolution that I have decided is 24 books. The other resolution I have decided upon is learning either Tamil or Kannada. The option I am just yet to decide upon Tamil or Kannada, because if
You want a suggestion?
COVID,
We would like to give Tamil, Bhaiya. Tamil.
yeah, of course, I love
Tamil
Tamil,
is
but
beautiful actually, and it has very good language actually.
yeah, Tamil is, I too love Tamil, and the literature of Tamil is also vast. But the fact is that if work from home is terminated, I'll have to move to Bangalore, where Kannada is actually used a bit. So yeah, that is a teeny decision I
But
need to
you
make.
don't need
And
to learn Kannada actually. Kannada you will get
yeah, it's almost,
automatically, Bhaiya.
yeah, yeah, I know that. No, I just want to, learn the alphabet as well, not just spoken or understanding. I want to learn the alphabet. Right. So that's one resolution. And besides that, I also made two other resolutions, which I can't call resolutions right now, but one of them is that I want to get back to writing and write 30 articles, 30 days of writing. I want to do a 30 days of writing. And the other one I wanted to do is 30 days of speaking. Uh, I want to get better in making short content, which is reels or, short videos. So these are the things I want to work on this year. And I hope if anyone else has any suggestions upon this, you can surely share them. Right. Um, right. So this is something I did back in 2020. With each resolution, I made a commitment. So what's the commitment? If I'm thinking of reading 20 self-help books, what is the commitment there? It's about self-growth. So if it is meditation, what is it about? So this is how I made resolutions, and I noticed that I did much better in 2020. So right, these are the things I did. Cool. Any other questions?
But yeah, I see like whenever you keep some resolution or something, you do it consistently actually. But whenever I do, like I feel like after someone like maybe for 10 days I do it and afterwards I lost it. Lose it. How
Hmm.
to keep up on consistency, Bhaiya? Like just help us on consistency.
Right. For consistency, just as I told you yesterday, it will need three things. One coming from above, which is coaching. You need to have a mentor or even maybe a friend who has reached consistency. So, with any habit that you are dealing with, you can share with them. You need to be open with your friends. You need to be vulnerable with your friends. That is how friendships grow deeper. Otherwise, we see today that a lot of friendships end up in hi, hello, how are you? They don't go deep. So you need to be vulnerable in your friendships. Your friendships will help you in growing, especially if you have that set of friends who are like-minded. And the other things which will help you is having a community around you. If a lot of people are doing something, you will also get that drive to do it. These are external. One you are getting from above, one you have it around. But the other thing is commitment. So how do you build your commitment is linked to the why ladder. You need to find out why you are actually doing this. If you just take one why, as you told, you will end up stopping this habit or this behavioral change within 1 month or something like that. But if you dive deeper and find out why you are actually, desiring why this, you go some 5 steps down with whys, then you will really find something that is from the core of your heart, and then there is much better chance of being committed to that habit. And but in the question you have said that I do things consistently. No, it hasn't been that way, but gradually and slowly I'm achieving that consistency. There have been times when I broke resolutions. It is nothing like I haven't broken resolutions, but from failures you learn, right? So uh, now what I do is I either find a friend who is doing the same thing, especially when I feel that I am in a slump of reading. Like it has happened in last 2 years that there are few periods of time when I fall out of reading. I don't read how much I want to read every day. In those times, I just find out a friend who is also reading, who is also developing this habit of reading. And what I do is I used to ask them that whatever they're reading, just share me. Like whether it be a short summary or it be a voice note, whatever it may be, just share me that whatever you are sharing, whatever you are reading. And they used to do this. This used to inspire me. You may say that this is an external inspiration. Yeah, it is. It is not the best way to get inspiration. Yeah, of course I accept, but it actually helped me. But this has a loophole, right? If you find no friend or the friend you have asked doesn't help you, right? Then you may fail there, but it works more or less. You just need to find the right people. Any other questions or any follow-up questions to this?
But the consistency it comes from determination, na, Bhaiya, in one sense. What do you feel?
Yeah, commitment, determination.
Hmm. So, okay. But determination is like, yeah, at starting days we can feel at from external things, but it should come from inside only, na?
Yeah, as I told you, you need to dive deep with your why you are actually doing it. You need to figure out your deepest intention. That will give you that determination or commitment. And there is one thing I wanted to actually put somewhere in this workshop, but I failed to. How many of you have watched this movie 83? Okay. Uh, did anyone watch 83? Okay, Rakesh has watched. So, as people say, you taste success once,
Tamil movie, na bhai,
tongue
83.
wants more. Rakesh?
It is Tamil movie, right?
No, it's pan Indian, like Ranveer Singh's movie 83. It's about the 1983 Cricket World Cup. So it has one of the prominent dialogues in the movie is this: as people say, you taste success once, tongue wants more. This actually happens. You get to, again. This is again something related to behavioristic psychology, or in other words, cognitive psychology. We can say that this is cognitive approach. That once you taste success by any means, whether it be whether it be by getting inspiration from friends, or it can be also by, you can put up a daily reminder or a weekly reminder in whatever frequency you want to do a habit. You can put alarm or reminder, Google Calendar reminder, something like that. And this, at least this reminder will remind you to do it. So in whichever way, if you are doing it, gradually you will develop that taste. You will get that momentum to make it a habit. But as I already mentioned, finding your deepest why is the key for commitment. I hope you understood that why ladder, right? When you say I want to read books, you need to first of all figure out why you want to read books. You will get an answer. Again, ask why. Why this answer? Maybe you got an answer ABC. Then you should ask why ABC. Then you will get DEF. You need to ask why DEF. In that way, when you go down some 4 to 5 whys, you will actually find out the core intention, and that will drive you. Furthest, don't, the key in doing this why exercise is that you don't give a lot of time in the initial whys. The first why must be instantaneous. If I ask you why reading, the first thought that comes upon your mind should be the answer there. Right? I hope it helped, Rakesh. You can try it out for yourself and let's see if it doesn't work.
Yeah, but right now I'm feeling like it would be great if I can get at least three. Because is it possible we
Yeah,
get up to 5 levels?
yeah, you can get at least 4 to 5. Four is possible. And four is actually needed. Unless you overthink for the first way, you will get 4 ways. If for the first way itself you give a lot of thought and go to second or third way directly, then you will not get 4 ways.
Okay, okay. Got it, boy.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Right. In this kind of scenarios, what I tend to do is ask questions myself, but I haven't come prepared to ask questions. Okay. So yeah, I have this question which Monica asked. What is your New Year resolution? Anyone who would like to share what's their New Year resolution? Or let's go from person to person. We just have 8 others here. So let's start with Monica. Monica, what's your resolution for 2022?
Hello, hi Neeraj.
Hi.
Um, Coming to New Year resolution, I want to see myself as a better person.
Okay. As I
And
told you,
new,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
please go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. You continue.
So yeah, as I told in last session that we must be more specific while setting our goals. So being a better person is a good intention, but when you call it a resolution, you need to, go a little ahead. Probably you're going a little ahead. I just unnecessarily cut you. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. I want to make see myself every day productive. That's my first
Mm-hmm.
goal.
Good.
And I want to newly add, like, read some books this year.
Great. Mm-hmm.
These two are majorly my New Year resolutions.
Great. So what I can add here is that with being productive, please make more concrete, concrete framework for what productive actually means for you. Because,
Like limiting
as
my
long as,
screen time,
yeah, limiting
limiting
your
my
screen
screen
time to
time,
what? Like, should it be 2 hours?
mobile
Should it be
usage,
1 hour?
like
Yeah, you need to,
unnecessarily using. I should avoid it.
yeah,
Like that.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I'm
planning
getting you.
actually.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just adding it that I'm not saying you must have done by now, but I'm saying that at least now you should do that. uh, First of all, you need to analyze that right now what productivity on the scale of productivity, where are you? Like, are you using 10 hours a day on mobile? Then you need to figure out what's your end goal, like what is your ideal state. This we have already done in the workshop, but just again I'm reiterating the things. So, and then let us say by 2023 you want to reach your ideal state, which would be something like 2 hours on your mobile, maybe.
Yeah.
Then you need to make a plan that by March or by Feb you need to get to 8 hours. Maximum is 8 hours. If you go to 6 hours, that's even good. So that way you need to plan out what's your end goal, what is the time frame, and how do I break it down. I'm saying this because it actually didn't work for me when I wanted to break this habit of playing chess, which I mentioned in the second
Yes,
session.
yes.
But what I did is I just made a pact with myself that I need to only play chess 5 times a day, and each time I play, I only play 5 games in each, in each of my 5 times. So that way I could get it down to 1 hour. But before that, it used to be 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that every day. So this is what has helped me. So this is an advice that I'm giving you. And about books, if you have seen on my screen that in 2020, I was planning for 40 books, or it was 2019
Yeah.
that I was planning for 40. It didn't really work. Yeah, I did read good amount of books, but I didn't go to 40. So to make it more concrete, what you can actually do is find a number which is possible for you. If not, if you can't
Yeah.
forecast whole of 20, at least try to forecast January or until March, and then you can also find out which books you want to read. This actually helped me last year that I made a list of books I want to read, and if not that book, I was reading some other book. I am fine with that, but I I reached my goal last year. I almost reached my goal last year. So yeah, these are uh, two pieces of advice that can add to your resolutions. Anything else you want to add, or we can move to the next person?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the advices.
Yeah. Then
Bhaiya,
who's up
sorry to
next?
interrupt. A small question, Bhaiya.
Yeah, Rakesh.
It
Sure,
really
sure.
helps me. Because
Hmm.
it's okay. It's very nice. Actually, you mentioned about the quantifying about our goals. But what should I do when my goal is like cannot be quantified? Like for example, my goal is to develop more compassion and humility. If you are in my position, how would
Okay.
you do it?
Okay. What you can actually do is, you know, what I would do is humility anyway can't be quantified. I accept that. But for compassion, we can actually do this. Do this exercise that you need to quantify the number of acts of kindness that you are doing. Compassion is not just a quality. Compassion is only compassion when it's in action. Unless and until it is in action, you can't call it compassion. So you can quantify the acts of kindness that you are doing, acts of compassion. So that is how you can develop the quality of compassion. Yeah, I understand that it should be in your heart, but it needs to come out as well. And you can say it is compassion only when it is coming out. As long as in your heart you are thinking, I am compassion, I am compassionate, it is just pride that is growing, not compassion. So for compassion, surely you can quantify. Humility, let's find out if we can do something. Humility. So for humility, humility, the definition of humility goes something like this, that you don't anticipate to be honored. So whenever you feel insulted, like whenever you feel you are not honored enough, these are the things you need to count. It cannot go on for long, like you can't keep counting every day, but either you can fix a day, like each Monday I will count how many times I felt unhonored, how many times I felt you know lack of respect, lack of being respected. So yeah, this way you can also kind of quantify humility. So this self introspection is actually key to growth. Unless and until you are not introspecting, you can't actually think of growth. They say that if something can't be measured, it cannot be improved, something like that. In the marketing world, they say it. In the management world, they say that if something can't be measured, it can't be improved. So you need to measure. You need to find out some measure for whatever you want to grow. Rakesh, did that help?
Yeah, bhaiya, it helped a lot. But yeah,
Sure.
I should work upon it. Thanks.
Yeah. Who's up next?
Uh, if you don't mind, I want to hear Sridharan's resolutions.
Yeah, sure. Sridharan, you are up next on the request of our organizer. My first New Year resolution is to wake up by 5:30 a.m. Great. Sleep by 10:30 a.m. and to improve your health. Great. 5:30 and 5:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. are perfect. All you need to do is, in case you are waking up too late in the day, and if you are unable to achieve that 5:30, if this is the case, then just try to go 15 minutes back. For take 2 weeks, go 15 minutes back. Take 2 weeks, go 15 minutes back. I mean, right now if it is 9 a.m., for the next 2 weeks, just try to wake up by 8:45 a.m. And for the next 2 weeks further, you may go to 8:30, and gradually maybe by April you will reach 5:30. If this is a scenario for you, if you're already able to wake up by 5:30, that's really good. You can keep doing it. And anyway, sleeping by 10:30 is more of in your control. Waking up is little outside of our control, because your mind is in charge. Great. Who's up next? And Sridharan, even for improving your health, you need to make certain, you know, if it is about illness, then you need to, illness is beyond your control. All that it is in your control is what you can do. You can eat better, you can work out more, you can, you know, balance the nutrition you are getting. These are the things you can do, right? So yeah, you need to delve further on improve my health. It can sound something like eating raw veggies and fruits 4 days a week, or it may be like 4 servings a day. Whatever is the standard for you, you can go for it. And then who's up next? Kriti, Akash, whoever wants to share the resolutions.
Hello.
Yeah, Akash.
Oh yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I have not decided yet this year. but some of them are quite sure. I'm sure that I will be putting into my resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the first one is like health, to work
Okay.
out like in the morning, and second
Great.
is reading books. One
Mm-hmm.
12 book in a year, like one book in a month.
Month. Great.
Yeah, uh, and in the previous year, I read around 5 to 6 books before
That's
the
good.
placement season began, and that was really helpful to make a very small decisions. Those
That's
books were
really good.
based on, yeah, and the third one is to work on my communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
basically to speak in a very precise way to explain
Great.
anything. And fourth, actually, during the session only, I decided I will be joining a company in Bangalore. If
Mm-hmm.
so in Bangalore, so I will be learning Kannada language from Duolingo.
Okay. Uh,
Uh,
I don't think Duolingo serves Kannada. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Hmm.
uh,
So you can figure out some other apps. There are other apps. There is Multibashi, there is Language Curry, and there is one app which is called Learn Kannada. So
okay,
these are apps
okay,
which would be helpful.
sure, I will figure out this.
And
And
one more thing to mention,
hmm,
I learn languages because it gives me happiness. Like I have been learning French. I really enjoy learning. So
okay,
that's why I learn more languages. If it is not something that you enjoy, then you may avoid it. You know, I'm just giving an advice here.
sure, sure.
Um, as such, living
Yeah,
in
Vijay, in
Bangalore
one
doesn't
sense, you are
necessitate.
keeping peer pressure on us.
Yeah,
No,
that is what I want to avoid.
no, actually, it's not a peer pressure. Actually, some of my relatives are there and they speak Kannada, so the
Oh,
it's
that's
just
good.
like
Then you can
so
actually learn. Hmm.
I can learn at least basics. I can learn.
It's fun. It's fun actually to learn new
Yes.
languages, and it's actually helpful to your brain as well. That is there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
if learning languages is not your cup of tea, then you may go for learning new musical instruments. You know,
Okay.
uh, Rakesh as also positive peer pressure is not really harmful. Like it causes some stress, but it is not harmful. Who's up next? Kriti, would you like to share?
Okay, so I till now I usually didn't have any. I don't make a new year resolution, and the main
Mm-hmm.
reason for that was because the why question that could be asked infinitely. So like you said talked about my why, huh? So
Mm-hmm.
like it is like not like that that why could be reached in 4 or 5 steps. No, like when it goes beyond that, तो मतलब तो
Mm-hmm.
वाई आंसर ही नहीं मिला तो फिर नहीं करे बट हाँ इस ईयर आई मेड वन and that is like simple, like I will speak my thoughts aloud, and if
Mm-hmm.
there is such a time that I am not able to speak my thoughts aloud, like that simply means that that is not the time to have thoughts. Like say suppose I am having my food, so I can't
Great.
speak my thought aloud at that moment, but that is a nice thing.
Okay.
मतलब, so that this means that I need not have thoughts at that moment, so that I
Mm-hmm.
like just have my like food. जैसे बचपन में नहीं होता था, like बचपन में we are very much aware of our surroundings. हाँ सारे सारे
Mm.
sensations बहुत, इवन जैसे मैं रात में कभी जग जाती हूँ ना, तो तब भी होता है ऐसा कि यू द सेंसेशन जो वर्ल्ड को फील कर रहा होता है ना, कुछ टच हो रहा हो तो बहुत नेक्स्ट लेवल पे होता है, तो दैट एक्सपीरियंस वो यही होता है, मैं
Being
कहता
more
हूँ कि
mindful.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली प्रिसाइसली यस,
Mm.
बस इतना ही है.
Great. That's good. Yeah. Akash, something I missed adding to you is that when you said improving your communication skills, that's really good. But again, you would love to add some quantification there, some practices, like, something you can do. Like, as we talked yesterday, think more of the growth than the goal. improving your communication skills is the goal, but what's the growth path you need to take? Like it may be something like joining speak up sessions more often, the speak up which we have in our college, or it can be reading books like word power, maybe, whatever it may be, whatever the learning path for you may be, you need to quantify it. You need to give a number on how frequently you want to do it. Okay, I think
Okay,
that
so
helps.
basically I can like merge also like the communication part and reading books.
Yeah, reading books, as I understand, reading books will help you with vocab and grammar, but I don't really think it will help you greatly with communication. It may help. It will depend on the book you are reading, but it is not necessary that books will help you with communication.
Sure, thank you, Bhaiya. Noted.
Like books will give you knowledge, books will give you vocab, books will give you grammar. These three are needed for communication. But when you talk about communication skills, it is more of expressing yourself. It's more of articulating your thoughts. So reading books may or may not help.
Sure.
Right. Who's up next? If no one's up next, Dinesh and Yashwant, you are the people who are left over to share your resolutions.
Yeah. My resolution is to quit Instagram and
Okay,
start reading books
great.
to
So
fill the gap.
did you did it already? Have you quit Instagram,
Huh.
or you
I
are going to
started
quit?
from 30th December.
Great, good going.
Uh,
Yeah, the same thing I also wanted to do.
Okay, that's great.
I uninstalled the Instagram, bought a new book, trying to do it.
That's great. As I told you, you need to replace habits, and you are exactly doing that. That's good. And so, if Dinesh is not gonna share, I'm gonna share
Hello,
what
sir. Sir,
Yashwant
one
has.
correction.
Yeah,
My
Dinesh,
name
please.
is not. Sir, my name
Roshan,
is
sorry.
Roshan, not Dinesh.
Okay, Dinesh must be your father, right? Sorry for that.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
Roshan.
sir. Few resolutions that I can quantify are that having a fixed routine, like morning routine, night routine,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and starting going out for like jogging after waking up, like after 10 or 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
because that
That's good.
is something that I have been trying to do, but mostly I have been avoiding it due to some or the
Okay.
other reason. And
Okay.
another ones are that I have made a list of books that I want
Okay.
to finish reading.
Great.
And one more thing that I have decided is that I have been relying more on videos lately. So I have decided to like switch more to whenever I want to know about something, some like info, then I will more uh, I will try to rely on like reading stuff.
Next.
And if I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand, then I will try to go to some videos or something like that.
Great.
These are something that I have decided.
Really good. Really good. So, just one thing. If you are still struggling with the habit of jogging that you want to develop, what you may want to do is, there is this thing called comfort zone and the growth zone. So, comfort zone is where your mind wants to stay, but growth zone is where you need to go there and get growing. So, mind, as we talked in probably the third session or second session. Yeah, in second session, I talked about mind. So, something more about mind I would like to share here is that mind is like a, teeny child, uh, 5, 6 years child maybe. So, what happens with mind is that, if you just let us imagine that it's snowing all around, like it's quite, if not snowing, it's cool outside, like it's quite cool outside. So if you take a kid outside, or maybe your pet dog outside, it will just come running back. It's not gonna go out there and enjoy the nature. So what you would like to do is take the child or the dog just to the doorstep, and you can roam around, like you just take 5 steps or 10 steps and get back, and you take some more steps, you take some more steps. That is when your mind will gradually come out, and it will test the water, and it will start coming out. This is how actually you can get out of comfort zone. If you just run out of the comfort zone into growth zone, it might be possible that you will get back into comfort zone and are not going to come out. So this also goes hand in hand with aim big, start small. Start small. So if your problem is with the duration or the effort that goes into jogging, then you may start off with something like 10 minutes of jogging or 5 minutes of jogging, whatever it may be. And the other obstacle that may come is of frequency. So it may be possible that you go 7 days in a row, but after that you don't go for 2 weeks. In that case, what you would like to do is start small, do something like on alternate days or 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, whatever is possible for you. Start small, and gradually you can achieve that consistency of going out daily. These are two. The third obstacle that may come up is the preparation. You know, uh, putting on those sports clothes, putting on the sports shoes and stuff. So this actually happens with a lot of people. So what you can do is uh, decrease the resistance, decrease the friction. Have those sports clothes and sports shoes ready the night before itself. Don't keep it for the morning that you will find out where your sports outfit or sports shoes are. Don't do this in the morning. Put them very near to your bed or very near to your door the night before itself. So these are things, I'm just giving for everyone. It's not especially for you. It may be helpful for anyone.
Yes, sir. This thing happens with me usually that once there happened once that I tried and I got there on the ground, and once I
Mhm.
started, then I was like pushing myself harder for like till I was like till my burnout, and then I was so
Burnout.
much it was so much burnout that next day I didn't even feel like going out. So
Yeah,
that's what happens.
yeah. This is what happens exactly. So Sridharan has a question. Could you please give some suggestions on how to reduce my screen time? Great. It is mainly spent on browsing information on the internet and reading messages on WhatsApp that are not very important, but I am kind of accustomed to go through them. Okay. So Sridharan, there are two ways screen time is gonna hurt you. One way is occupying your mind space. The other way is eating away your time. You need to figure out which problem you are facing, whether it's both or one of them. So if it's with time, like if screen time, like the time you spend on screen is hurting your other priorities, which you need to give time to. In that case, what you need to do is you need to follow a proper calendar and clock. Like um, for the things you want to do every day, you need to have a proper schedule. And for WhatsApp and all other social media, what you can do is you can block them out, block the distractions out. Block them out in the sense you should not block the notifications. That is not what I'm saying, trying to say. What I'm trying to say is you need to give a block of time. Let us say it would be something like 11 to 11:30 in the morning, or half an hour after your lunch, or half an hour before your lunch. Both of these are not the best times. I'm just giving a kind of idea of what you need to do. You need to find out some blocks of time only in which you are going to do. If going through your WhatsApp messages, you think you can give it 30 minutes, then you need to find 30 minutes slots. If you think you can give only 15 minutes, then give slots of 15 minutes. And you need to make a pact with yourself that this is the only time that you are going to check, even if notifications flood. And you can make it to those close people, people you may be working on projects, people of your family, that I am staying away from WhatsApp. If there is something urgent, please call me up. This is what will help you if time is the issue. If mind space is the issue, that using WhatsApp or Instagram or other things on internet are occupying your mind space. In that case, what you need to do is you need to replace what you do, replace what you have. Like if it is certain groups that are certain groups on WhatsApp which are not serving you, you may have to leave them. If if certain accounts on Instagram are giving you feed which doesn't help you any longer, you need to unfollow them. In the same way, if it's Google giving you recommendations that are not useful, this is something we can't do much about externally. But internally, what you can actually do is you need to work more on your mind control. Meditation is something that will surely help you with mind control. So you need to develop that mind control where you can control your mind from getting distracted. That is sure short solution. That's an absolute solution. But just the way uh, for even for battling COVID, we do both the things. We boost our immunity, and at the same time, we avoid getting infected. So you need to do both the things. You need to avoid such messages. You can unfollow them, disconnect from them, and all these things. These are external. And boosting your immunity is boosting your mind control. So for mind control, there are few techniques. Meditation is one of the best ones. And yeah, there are other ways as well. You can replace things like if you are habituated to Instagram, then follow good channels on Instagram. If you are habituated to YouTube, follow good channels on YouTube, which will actually help you. So your recommendations will be more of those which you want. So yeah, these are a few advices I can give. Any other questions following this or new questions? Sridhar, and I also hope that I could answer your question. Yeah, cool.
Bhaiya,
Yeah, Rakesh.
one small question, Bhaiya. See, the goals or
Right?
the resolutions or whatever we take is entirely dependent upon our
Mm-hmm.
priorities actually.
Hmm.
So like how to like sometimes I feel like my priorities are little bit wrong. Like for in my case, I give my mental health the most priority. Physical health I never care about. If I feel that if mental health
Hmm.
is strong, then nothing is required actually. So like
Okay.
it is little bit wrong. So how to change my priority actually? Like how to
Okay. Right. So first up, your resolutions need not exactly be aligned with your priorities. It is possible. And the mistake we do is we give equal priority to all the resolutions. Something maybe I missed pointing, uh, something I missed to stress upon is that you need to have small changes with big priorities. So if you are making a teeny change in any of the habits, give a big priority to that change. Even if it is just as I told you, if you want to wake up at 5 a.m., as you go from 8:45 to 8:30, that should be your topmost priority. It should not be like ठीक है यार एक दिन नहीं उठा तो ठीक है. It should not be like this. It should be that you must wake up before 8:30. Now coming to a question where you asked that, so how do you prioritize, right? So for prioritization, there is this exercise that you need to figure out what's the most important thing in your life. So health is one. This just needs self introspection. So without physical or mental health, you are not going to achieve anything. Let us say you have studied all the year, all the semester, but just when it's the end semester, you fall sick. It's not going to help you, right? So health is something that must be on the top priority. And there are other things that needs to be on your top priority. One is physical health, mental health, your spiritual health. These will take the top priority. With that also come relationships, because relationships once broken can't be the same again most of the times. So they say no that it's like a thread. Once the thread is cut, even if you tie them again, that knot still remains. So relationships are something that needs to take the topmost priority. After this come your academics, career and stuff. After this maybe your recreation and stuff. Priorities change from person to person. You need to figure out what takes the topmost priority, what needs to take topmost priority. It's not that it's not just figuring out your priorities, but figuring out what need to be your priority. And of course, this changes from person to person. For someone, work may be the greatest priority after health and relationships, but for someone, work is something temporary. Like they are looking for something more tangible. Like they want to start their own venture. For them, their current job won't take that much of priority. In the same way, you will have your own priorities, but you need to figure out what your priorities need to be. That will just need some introspection, self introspection, and maybe some guidance. Rakesh, I hope that answered. Is
Yeah,
there anything
yeah, Bhaiya. Like
more I can add to it?
most of the questions I am asking are related to introspection only. Like you are giving the
Hmm.
answer as introspection only. So I
So
feel
in that
like I
case,
should do more introspection.
I think yeah, you should start this habit of either gratitude journaling in the morning or writing a diary at night, or both journaling and diary. Maybe if you haven't been doing it. If you have been doing it, you need to do it in a more structured way so that you will become more self-aware. One exercise I started doing is every day when I write my journal, I write down one thing I like about myself, OTID, one thing I like, and one thing I dislike, OTID. I started writing these, and I think that actually helped me become more self-aware to understand my own self, what I like about myself, what I dislike about myself, what I need to work on. You know, this might help. Okay, Rakesh. Any
Yeah,
other questions? I think we have passed 30 minutes long ago for the Q&A session. Uh, right. So I'll just share what Yashwant has asked for, and I also wanted to share, which are book recommendations and something more as well. So, if you ask me three books that you can start reading, these are three books. Can you see the third book as well?
yes, Bhaiya, yes.
Yeah, it's Ikigai. So, Life's Amazing Secrets, Think Like a Monk, and Ikigai. There are many other books, but these books are related to lifestyle and habits. So, I am recommending these three books since you are attending this workshop. These three books would be something you would love. And one thing I wanted to burst about Ikigai is that Ikigai, this book is not just about your career. It has a lot more. With this judge the book by its cover wala mindset. I kept this book away for a long time. I thought it's about career, so I thought while I get into job, I'll read Ikigai. But it actually has a lot more other things. It's about living a long and happy life. So
Yeah,
that's
Bhaiya. I did not really expect the third book, Ikigai. Really, it is a surprise
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, so whoever are interested can just get a snapshot of this. Anyway, I hope the presentation will also be shared with all of you, but still you can get a snapshot of the things. And then something I love to do is reading underknown books by Indian authors. And these are three amazing, amazing books that you would love to read. Open End Meditations, Mind Your Mind, Three Principles for Happy Living, and Art of Concentration in the Age of Distractions. The first two books are available on Amazon. The third book is only available on their own website, on the publication's website. but these three books are real gems. You can give them a good try, especially Mind Your Mind. Mind Your Mind. It is from Mind Your Mind that I have shared this path of awareness, acceptance, and aspiration. This book talks completely about that. First of all, you need to become aware of yourself. Then you need to accept yourself with all your gifts and drawbacks, and then you need to aspire, do something out in this world. And then coming to habits, these are three books that have really good insights on habits. The Power of Habit is more scientific. Atomic Habits is more theoretic, more of completely of theory. Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. Club is a lot about motivation. So yeah, these three books do talk about habits, have their own genres, but depending on your own interests, you can go and read them. And then on time and productivity, again, a underknown book by an Indian author, Time Management for Students Who Value Their Time. This is more for students, not for those into jobs, but still, time is time for everyone. So anyone can give a try there. And then deep work. Deep work is something we all have been struggling with the advent of social media. So deep work will give you insights on how to work deeply. And then is Eat That Frog. I didn't read this book personally completely. I just gone through its summary. It was good. It sounded good. But for many people who I know, this actually helped in defeating procrastination. So I think this also makes to the recommendations on my slide. Time Management by Amalam Das and Deep Work and then Eat That Frog. These three books are those which you may like to read if you are working on time and productivity. And then podcasts. Podcasts are something, they are like underutilized minds. Reading book takes a lot more effort, but podcasts are much simpler. You can listen to a podcast while you are on commute, while you are doing your daily chores, while you are working out, while you may be just going to sleep. So podcasts are something really amazing. These are two podcasts I frequently listen to. I am a regular listener of On Purpose with JCT. It's just amazing. The guests he brings, the topics he discusses upon, all of them are great. Huberman Lab is more of neuroscience. He's a neuroscientist, I think, in Harvard University or somewhere, Cambridge, maybe Cambridge. So he just shares his some of his discoveries and the discoveries by other neuroscientists around the world. And he also gives good recommendations of habit changes as well. So these are the podcasts you may allow to read. Let's skip these. These are not meant to be here. I mean, still, these books I still recommend, but these are not completely related to this workshop. I just copied these recommendations from a previous workshop, which was on book reading. So, and if I had just one book to read and one book to recommend, it would be Bhagavad Gita as it is. And if you are someone who was interested to read, then I would surely recommend that you should take it up. You may need to read some other prerequisites before reading Gita to understand it deeply, but this is something you should take to read. And as many people, many people just live in the illusion that Gita is meant for old people. This is not the time to read Gita, but that's all, false. Once you start reading, you will understand why you need to read this. And just the way we do all our studies while we are young, so that we can work upon what we learned through our life, the same thing holds with uh, Gita as well. Gita is also kind of education. It just gives the education of self. So the earlier you read it, the more you can work on it through your life. So yeah, this is the recommendation, topmost recommendation that I would like to share with all of you. This brings me to the end. And it's been a great experience for sharing what I have been doing in my life to develop habits with all of you. Thank you all so much for participating in the 2022 Life Research workshop. And if you can see my screen, you will see that I've dropped a few links where you can connect with me, and I would love to listen to your feedback. You can share your feedback either to me directly on any of the platforms mentioned there, or you can send it through the organizers. I would love to listen to your feedback. That really helps me grow. Thank you all for staying on, for making it to the fourth bonus session. And okay, I have a question here. I have a couple of questions here. Okay, Yashwant asks, do you prefer ebooks or hard copies? I personally prefer hard copies because ebooks give unnecessary strain to my eyes, and I don't want to take that. Yeah, ebooks have their own pros. You can easily highlight and note things, make notes of things on ebooks, that is there, and they are easy to carry, that is there. But all that outweigh the smell of hard copies, the feel of reading physical books. Yeah. So yeah. I mean to say the feel of reading physical books outweighs all the pros of ebooks. Yeshwant, I hope I answered that. Then comes Akash question where he's asking, what stuff you write in diary, writing in evening? I used to write daily routine earlier. Yeah, I used to do this as well. And while I was in school, people used to peep into my diary and make fun of me. That used to happen. But yeah, gradually I started changing that. I started writing only things that mattered. And it's still fine if you still write all that has happened in your day, what you had for breakfast, what you had for lunch. That's still good. That actually helps you to build your, you know, memory. This is called, I think it is called long-term memory. Yeah, it helps you build your long-term memory because you have, once you sit down at night, you recollect of what all things have happened, and memory is basically the power of recollection. If you have a basic understanding of memory, memory is not actually remembering what has actually happened. While we call memory, what we actually remember is the last instance that we remember what has happened. So recollection is actually the key for memory, for developing memory. So yeah, diary writing, even if you are just writing your routine, still helps. But there are a lot more things which you can actually write. If you have been in yesterday's session, we have discussed in the night routine that H stands for heal. You have a lot of things to heal. You may have hatred, you may have insecurities, you may have worries which you may need to heal. And writing things out is a great way to heal yourself. So if something is bothering you, write it down. Your diary is a good friend. You can write it down, share it with your diary. It actually helps. So these are the things you can write in your diary. You can share your thoughts, share your dream projects. If you can't share it with people, you can still share with your diary. And of course, you can write things you are grateful for. What are the things that went well today? Whatever you would like to write, but you can generally follow a template. You know, for a month, you can write three things that went well in this month, in this day, for every day in that month, something like that. And I think we are running overtime. And Rakesh, it's over to you. Yeah, I have one more announcement to make for all of you. That's about, you know, after the workshop, I have planned to design a companion, a worksheet, you may call it that way, workbook. It would be 2022 Life Reset Companion. This is under process, considering all the questions you asked, considering all the things that were shared. We are developing this, we are designing this with the team. So, but this comes with an investment. This is not free. This comes with an investment. So, I want to know how much are you willing to pay for this? What is it? Is it 10 rupees, 50 rupees, or something else? If it's not In if it's not in money, what is it? What is it that you are willing to pay? I missed putting it on one of the slides, but we have a life reset companion which is getting ready with all the things that were shared in the workshop plus the things that were asked in the workshop. So Rakesh is willing to pay 500. I think it's 500 rupees. Good. Okay. Any others? How much are you willing to pay for this? This is not free. That I can tell you. Okay. Okay. No one wants to pay, it seems. Right. Anyway, I'm not holding the suspense any longer, but this comes with an investment. This is not free, but all I want to all I want you to pay for is some commitment. If you are committed to your own self growth, we are going to give you this. We are not charging you money, we are charging you commitment. So, how will I know that you are committed? So, the thing about this worksheet is that we are not going to release it on all the groups. We are going to share this only with those people who get us back, who fill the feedback forms and get back to us that asking for this companion. This companion would be ready by Saturday or Sunday. And let us see if some of you get back to us, then we will share the companion with you. Otherwise, we'll also leave an announcement that the companion is ready, but we will leave it in a cryptic way. We won't say that Life Reset 2022 companion is ready. Whoever wants to take it can DM us. We are not going to do that. We'll just leave it in an as abstract way that we'll just mention companion is ready. So if you want the companion, just DM one of the admins on the group and you will get the companion. What the companion will have, it will have a worksheet, it will have the exercises that were mentioned in the workshop, and it will also have certain resources for all the habits which were discussed. So this is what is the big bonus you would like to get, and that comes with an investment that is not free. That is all from my side, and thank you all for staying on. Rakesh, it's up to you now.
Yeah, thank you, Bhaiya. First of all, I don't know how much to thank you. We owe a deep gratitude for you. I don't know. Very, very supportive for us. And it is like very, very great for us to have a senior like you. Guys, how many of you feel like this, guys? Just raise your hand for me, please. Yeah. Everyone, literally everyone have a deep gratitude for you. Thank you, literally, thank you very much for taking this wonderful workshop and helping us all. Thank you very much, Bhaiya. Before
Thank you,
we end,
Rakesh. Thank you
I
for
want to take
organizing the workshop. Yeah, sure, Rakesh.
before ending this workshop, I want to take one small screenshot of. Can you all
Sure.
please off the camera?
Is it done? I don't think others are gonna come on the camera. Anyone else going to come on camera? Just preparing for it? Yeah, Akash, great. Okay, Rakesh, I think you can go for the click.
I have taken.
Cool.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, sure. But you
Words
must
to
have got the click on the first session. There we had more people.
we have more people actually. I forgot it.
Anyway, it just tells that it takes commitment to reach till here, and you all have showed that commitment, and I really appreciate that. Thank you all for joining. If there is nothing else, I'll take your leave.
Thank you very much. Yeah, amazing
Thank you,
session.
Akash. Hope you found something useful. And so bye. Rakesh, I think you would just check with Kamal. I think he has just joined the session, so you may share the recording if he would like to go through it. Yeah, bye bye. Until next time, say bye.